Hi, and thanks for joining me for this installment of Tom's Take. And thank you to Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in LaSalle for her generous sponsorship of this weekly multimedia project. Throughout December, we've been profiling the very significant community initiative of our company's radio stations it's involved with. It's called Feed the Need, and it's an effort to fill the tills of the area food pantries. Those are the Hall Township, Illinois Valley, and Putnam County food pantries. All cash donations received through December 31st by the website will be matched dollar for dollar by the Miller Group Charitable Trust. Details are available on our website. Go to starvedrock.media, click on Feed the Need, and check out all the information. Click on the links to the pantries you'd like to help, 1, 2, or even all 3. Couldn't be any easier. Now this week, I'm taking a look at the Putnam County Food Pantry, which can be found in the basement of the United Church of Christ in Granville. Gail Reno is the president of the food pantry and Michelle Carboni is the treasurer. Now, on a recent afternoon, they walked me through their operation, and that's what you're going to be seeing today. A couple of things. First, they're going to be welcoming most kinds of donations, of course, including cleaning supplies for their own use. But if you give cash, they're going to get a lot more food for that money than we can get at the store ourselves. So instead of buying food, consider giving them cash for it. And just as we've seen with the other pantries, more people are coming to them for food. The closure of the mushroom plant in Depew and the hospitals in Spring Valley and Peru are part of the reason. And as with the other food pantries, they're also getting larger families than they used to. Let's take a look at where your dollars are going at the Putnam County Food Pantry. This is the United Church of Christ in Granville on Church Street, appropriately enough. Beautiful little church, and around the side is the Putnam County Food Pantry. As you can see, plenty of parking, and they have it set up so that you come in downstairs, the basement entrance, where the food pantry is actually located. Watch your step. There's a little bit of a tricky step at the bottom, but this is where you're wanting to come if you are heading to the Putnam County Food Pantry.
We started out in this little room back there. That was our original pantry.
Oh, way in back?
Way in back.
Oh my goodness.
And I had this brainstorm. When the church added on upstairs, they offered us the basement. And I had an idea of including the high school kids, so I went to the shop class and asked if they could build us a pantry.
At Putnam County?
Yes. And so they did one whole semester, blueprints and cutting up the boards, making the shelving, and then brought it all in for us.
And that's what this is over here?
That's all the shelving that the kids
This is done
made.
by high school kids?
Yep. Yep.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it was
do you
great.
do you have them volunteer at all for hours here?
Mm-hmm. We do. They help carry out groceries to the people's cars, clients' cars.
We're seeing more people than we have. When COVID hit, oddly enough, we were not very busy. We had to change how we did things. We carried all the groceries and products upstairs. We only allowed one in at a time. And now in the last probably 6 months, we've really seen an increase again. There's probably 15 to 20 families each week where we were seeing maybe 8 each week. So it's picked up again, and so we need to stock up on more food again. St. Margaret's, the hospital's closing, and now with Monterey Mushroom closing, I'm sure we're going to probably get some more from that, but yes, those are two of the big.
When do you do your pickups, on Saturdays?
Mm-hmm. Saturday morning, 8:30 to 10:30. But also, if those hours don't work for people, maybe that, we have several that are both minimum wage jobs, and still having a hard time because of the price of groceries. So we meet them down on odd hours if that's a request, evenings or on another day. And we do shut-ins also. If they're not able to come out or handle coming down, then we take it to their home.
Do you have a vehicle for that, or you just do it yourself?
Yeah, just our cars.
It's all volunteer.
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the difference between donating food and donating cash? Which is preferred?
The cash actually goes a little bit further because we purchase food from the Riverbend Food Bank out in the Quad Cities, and we get a much better deal than if we just have to buy it outright. But there are some things, and unfortunately, yes, the food helps feed them, but we also try to do laundry soap, dish soap, some toiletry items, so that's all at our expense to bring those in. Occasionally, we will get a donation. We also go to Midwest Food Bank once a month in Bloomington, and that is free to us. So we try to, my dad takes his truck down and loads it up, and we get as much as we can from them as well.
So the cash gets you extra buying power at
Yes.
these suppliers.
Yes.
But it would be good to have people donate cleaning products too.
Yes, we've done some drives. The FFA just did a drive, and the school does 100-day, I believe. And we've asked, we hate to say specific things, but a lot of times that's what we don't get. And again, we have to spend the money to purchase those things. So if we can kind of get people to donate some of those items, we don't have to spend as much money, and we can spend more of that on food.
We thought for a while it was going to be a little bit lower, but as the word gets out now, things are increasing. So we're at about 102 baskets, which includes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and clothes that are bought new from one of the Catholic churches, blankets. This church takes care of the senior citizens. That might be the only gift that they might get. So it's a huge project, and we were figuring it to be around 100. That's what it usually is.
And we also have Toys in the Pantry that donate all the toys for the children. And it's really an amazing thing. They keep spreadsheets every year. Amy Samay and Carissa Hopkins also help us. They're huge. They pretty much run the Christmas basket deal. But the Toys in the Pantry, they get a list of what the kids want, and they try to get what's on that list. And they do a really good job of that.
We're so fortunate to live where we live, because this is the smallest county. But when we're low on anything, toilet paper or macaroni and cheese, all we have to do is get the word out, and we have it. And then we do order once a month from our local grocery store to keep him involved also.
I have to tell you, it's been a pleasure to profile these food pantries. Each has its own way of operating, and each is completely dedicated to the mission at hand. If you'd like to help out at the Putnam County Food Pantry, you can stop on into the basement. It's around the south side of the United Church of Christ in Granville on a Saturday. And they're very easy to work with, and they welcome whatever you can do to help. If you're listening to this on the radio or streaming, remember that this is a weekly video project, and you can find it among the other Tom's Take installments at the Starved Rock Media YouTube channel.
And so back here we have the shelves, and we try to make notes to help the volunteers, because everything, again, is volunteer. And we always tell them you can't do anything wrong. So right now you can see the shelves are pretty stacked, but not, we're a little bit bare here. We have cereal and canned chicken. We always have mac and cheese and spaghetti. And then over here we usually have baked goods, pastas. Right now we have some stuffing. And then down this aisle is always our snack aisle, so that it's the candies, goodies. Some people are always like, oh, I can't have that, but we try to get something. They'll come down the stairs, they'll register here at the counter, and then we call out how many how many are in the household, and then the volunteers back here will pack the bags in boxes, and then they pick them up, and then they take them out. We've been fortunate to have the kids need service hours, so they have been helping carry up, and we have a guy named Joe that comes almost every week, and he's phenomenal. He helps carry everything upstairs too, so.
To the cars.
It takes a village to run it. And we did get lucky enough. We just got 2 new freezers and a refrigerator from Riverbend. I put in, they had a questionnaire about how old our things were, and we had some pretty old ones. So luckily we just got 3 new ones recently. And then we have one last one over here.
I can always go back to one that I won't ever forget, and it was when I first started it here. I had gone and purchased the food and brought it back to unload, and there was a little boy over in the park kind of watching me over my shoulder. So I finally broke the ice and said, how about you if you help me? So he came down, got off his bike, came down, and I said, you've done such a good job. Pick something out. Whatever you want for your helping, we'll do. And he looked around and he said, I'll take some fruit cocktail. Not the cookies, not the candy, fruit cocktail. That's what keeps my heart warm, things like that.
One time we had a dad that came down. His wife had just left him with 2, he had 2 daughters, and he was in tears. And I said, hey, that's why we're here. I said, you stay, you come as long as you need. When you're back on your feet, pay it forward, help somebody else out. And one Christmas we had a mom that came in, and they're awesome, like I said, about doing gifts for the kids. And this kid had asked for a bike. And she came in that morning to pick up the basket, and there was a bike for her son, and she broke down and she said, you know, if I didn't have this bike, I wouldn't have anything for my son. So, I mean, there's stories like that that that, you know, we are here for a good purpose, and it's a wonderful thing.
So you got word that a bike was wanted and you were able to locate one?
Yep, they got a bike, and the one year I think they got all new comforters, bed sheets, everything for 2 kids and their dad. You know, it's an amazing thing, and people just come together. I mean, there's people you can reach out and say, hey, I need a bike, or I need, you know, bedroom sets, and they're there.
Yeah. Some are pretty, their pride is injured coming down. It takes a lot to walk those steps.
Yeah.
And so by agreeing to coming off when people aren't here, I think that helps a lot. I had one case where a couple of my volunteers were a little bit, they questioned, she pulled in with her big fancy truck, and, you know, she left. Well, that's one that I started meeting on other than our regular hours, because she had a fancy truck, but she also had a husband that wasn't taking care of her and the boys. So, you know, you have to be open-minded. All of our volunteers, we've had such great people that just don't judge, you know, and you really can't judge when you're doing something like this. Everybody has their own story.
Sometimes I try and tell people, come down on a Saturday. It's 2 hours on a Saturday morning. Try it. If you don't like it, it's okay. We won't make you stay.
Seems
but
like the easiest way to do it, to
Yeah.
just kind of jump into it and see if they like it.
And they get nervous, but we always say you can't do anything wrong. You know, if you miss something, they're not going to know. It's okay, you know.
And it's all volunteers.
It
so
is.
Right.
Absolutely.
welcome whatever you can get.
And I want to, you know, give a shout out to our guys and girls that help on delivery day. My dad goes down, like I said, to Bloomington and gets a truckload, and we have a crew that comes here and they unload and they put stuff away. And then when Riverbend, that's the big delivery, and they have a system. They have rollers that they have to set up, and they have the exact way they set it up, and they roll the stuff down the steps, because as you can see, those steps are a little difficult. And but you know, these guys work. They come here, they get it all done, and you know, they're here a couple of hours, and we couldn't do it without them.
If you'd like to contribute to the Putnam County Food Pantry or the other 2 pantries we're supporting, or all of them, it's as easy as going to starverock.media. You can click on the link for Feed the Need and then click the links to the pantries you want to support. Check out all the details up there too. Thanks again to Kathleen Wayland of Wayland Financial in LaSalle for sponsoring this weekly video. Thanks to you for watching it, and Merry Christmas.